Hello everyone, it's Tailz from Studio WyldFurr here, and I have a quick little tutorial about how to add some moody lighting to your adventure maps. So let's just say you've built your adventure map here in Photoshop as this little pre-built map that I have here from a previous tutorial, and you want to add some moody lighting so it looks like it's got dynamic lighting. So let's just have a look here. This is the effect that we're looking for, so you can see the lighting here and the shadows. It gives it a lot more oomph rather than you've just built it freshly. All the lighting is pretty static. So what we want to do is we want to go to this sort of thing. So we've got the light shining through the doorway, and we've got light on the floor, and it's dark in the areas where the candlelight is reaching its extent. So how do we do this? Now, assuming you've built the map using my method of having one folder for your floors, one folder for your walls, and one folder for feature elements that go between them. All you need to do is go between the walls and floors and over the top of your feature elements. Come down here in your layers palette and create a exposure filter layer. Now you'll want to create this so that it's underneath the walls, so it will not render over the top of the walls, but it is over your floor and over any objects that you have in the room. Now that's created, what we want to do is we want to set the darkness level that we want the map to go to. So let's go -4. So it looks pretty dark. That's what we want. Now what we need to do is go to our gradient tool, set it to be a spherical or radial gradient. We want the color that we're going to be using is going to be black because we're masking this area. We're using a mask on the exposure. And what we need to do is we need to go and find where our lights are in the scene. So there's a light here. Now we know that this light comes out to about 10 feet radius, so we measure out roughly 10 feet, drawing that gradient. As you can see here, so what we've actually done is I'll go to the gradient, the map mask. So here we go. So here's our mask. So the white area is our layer effect passing through or being rendered. The black area is that layer effect not being blended or being masked out. So all I've done is I've drawn in a gradient, a spherical gradient, where that light originates. So let's just go back to the actual map. And you see here, it's created a lit area. So we've got our darkness and the rest of it, which is our unmasked exposure that we put in. And then we've got the light area, which is, it's actually normal, like what the map normally looks like. As I just turn it off. See? And it creates a bit more dynamism. Now if you want it to be a bit brighter, all you simply do is draw in that gradient again, and it brightens up a bit more. So we've got a candle there, we've got another candle here. Let's just draw that in, make it a bit brighter. There we go. Now I know there's a lantern here, so let's draw it in. Just make it a bit brighter. Then there's another candle just here in this room. A bit brighter. Now this room's the tricky one because there's a doorway here and we want the light to spill out of the doorway. So we're going to have to mask this one off a little bit. Now let's just zoom in on this area. Here we go. So one thing we want to do is we want to have the light spilling through this doorway. So the first thing we want to do is work out where do we want to mask off. So come to the origin of our light and draw out a line. So we know that's where that wall's going to be cutting off the light there. And then that's where we know this wall's going to be cutting off the light about there. Let me just make certain that whoops, these are actually black lines. We want them as white, so we actually see them. So I'm just using this as guides. So we come back to our exposure mask, and we draw in a selection. So we start here, so we know the light's going to be coming along to here. Then we want it all inside this room, along to the edge of this wall, follow that down to there, and then close off. So that's our selection area. So let's get rid of our 2 lines, switch back to our gradient tool, and then draw in our highlight. Now I draw it a bit bigger so that we can get the effect. Turn off our selection, and there it is. Pretty easy. Now obviously if the light was, say, closer over here, it'd be a bit, the highlight would be a bit more dynamic. So for example, if I just, I'll undo it. So let's just say the light was actually, say, here. So if we drew it out here, see how it's a lot more oops, there we go. You can see it a lot more now, but because the light was sort of on the further edge of the room, it was a lot harder to see. But that's basically how you can go through and quickly add in some dynamic lighting to your scene. Is just add in an exposure layer and then use the mask to mask out where you want the lights to, or the normal lighting of the room to take effect. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy this little tutorial, and like and subscribe the channel, and if you want to know anything else, just visit me on Discord. Thank you.